guest today who is called Ishmam Ahbab, who is joined by, of course, his mother, Dr. Nusrat Runi. And I welcome you both to the show.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having us on.
You're very welcome. Now, Ishmam, I know you've done amazing in your A-levels, and I'm going to quickly ask you, what did you do in your A-levels?
For my A-levels, I did A-level biology with the OCRA exam specification, A-level chemistry with that same specification, and Edexcel A-level maths.
Amazing. And what do you want to be? I mean, now that you've obviously completed the A-levels, what does it mean?
So I got accepted into Imperial College London to study medicine, so hopefully a doctor. In terms of a specialty, not really sure.
Not sure yet.
As of right now,
I'm
but
sure
I'm
you'll
sure
figure
that,
out. Yeah, definitely. And what did you get in your A-levels?
I got 3 A stars in the A-levels I've mentioned, and
Yes.
also an A star in my EPQ, my extended project
I remember
qualification.
EPQ, yes. I liked an EPQ. I liked writing a lot. But wow, that's amazing. I mean, how do you feel now you've achieved these results?
Definitely very happy.
Yes.
More so just a weight off my chest now that I have actually gotten all the results.
Are you looking forward to university?
Yes, yes,
Definitely.
it should be good.
Why did you choose to study medicine?
Initially, I wanted to study a subject that had a big focus on biology and chemistry. So I was more thinking of something like natural sciences, but I also wanted to help people, and seeing my mum here and going through many kinds of work experiences as well, I kind of figured out that medicine is probably the right path for me to take.
Definitely. And I mean, for mum, how did you find it? You know, I mean, your son's now doing, he's finished with his A-levels, but what was it like for yourself being a working mother and also helping him, you know, prepare for his A-levels? What was it like for you?
Sure. First of all, I'm incredibly grateful, you know, for his result. And yeah, it was a long journey, and he has a long nights, and he used to commute a lot. It was a long.
How long was the commute?
About an hour.
Oh gosh.
So waking up around 6:30, then taking my coach off to school. So it's not that
easy.
bad,
I mean, it's still an hour. I mean, if you
Yeah.
think about the preparation that it takes just to, I mean, wake up first of all for school, and then on top of that, get the bus, get the coach, and then I can't imagine how how you did that. But of course, getting the results that you did, I'm sure it's all now paid off, alhamdulillah. Now you're going to Imperial College of London, and that's superb.
He wanted to be.
Yeah.
So it was a long journey, but he did hard work and he never gave up.
No, alhamdulillah. And what was it like for you? I mean, you're a working mother, so.
Well, I was there on the background.
Yes.
He did most of the work. So basically, I was helping with this placement, all these things.
Yes.
Just try to help. Otherwise, all the study, he was very focused.
Of course.
And structured.
That's good. And what was the structure like for you?
For me, like when studying?
Yeah, studying. I think because with A-levels, the amount of prep work that you have to do is incredibly different from what you do at your GCSEs, because you're not just tackling, let's say, I guess 8 to 10 subjects depending on who you are. But I mean, at A-levels, it's 4 subjects or 3 subjects, and then, you know, you're having to put a lot of focus. So what was it like for you?
In terms of how I balanced my time, it would usually be just coming home, having some nice food, then getting cracking on with work for maybe 2.5 hours continuously, and maybe a little bit more work later, some homework or revision in that kind of sense. But in terms of what I did to actually revise, lots of blurting. So that just means you've learned something new, you write down as much as you can remember from a certain topic, which is more useful for something like chemistry, maths, a science topic. And then comparing that to a textbook or any other kinds of notes that you have, and then seeing what you've missed, and then filling in the gaps from there. And that ends up being, if you end up doing that repeatedly or doing spaced repetition, you end up with really good results overall.
Of course. Do you think that sort of technique works a lot better for the subjects that you've taken, or would it apply to anyone else?
I would say, for me, coming from like more of a STEM background, it definitely works better for STEM subjects. For something like English or politics, the main kind of thing that you would get from that would be maybe blurting in terms of learning content, but a good chunk of the marks come down to actually writing the essay. So it'd be more so maybe practice with writing long form.
I think, I can definitely agree with that, because I took politics and it was a lot more watching the news, remembering the sort of recent events, and then writing the essays. So definitely I do agree with that. So, I mean, what was the support like from school?
In all honesty, my support from school was great. In a lot of the time when I wasn't sure about where to go, or if I wasn't sure about a specific university, I'd ask a teacher about what they would think from their experience. Or in any kind of situations where I needed help with my personal statement, I had my reference writer, her name's Dr. McLeod. She was really lovely the entire way through writing my reference and helping me with my personal statement. School's been great. And in terms of learning the subjects as well specifically, I love my subjects. I think that's probably one of the...
I can see that. Clearly, you're very passionate.
I think that's one of the reasons why I did so well, because at every stage, I remembered it better because it was something that I genuinely wanted to do. When I was learning something, I loved it, and my teachers were what made that happen.
Definitely. And I think another thing I would ask, because I think during UCAS applications, you also have to do, what is it called, the MCAT? Or the...
I had to do the UCAT specifically.
UCAT, right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said MCAT. Anyways, but UCAT, I mean, you're preparing for the UCAT, you're also preparing for UCAS applications. And on top of that, obviously, you've got the dreaded homework and preparing for, of course, just the lessons ahead. So how did you manage all of that at the time? Because I think September and October is the busiest time.
September and October, definitely the busiest time of the year.
Yeah.
In this time last year, round about the end of August, so UCAT applications ended up starting round about late July, early August, and I booked mine for late August of last year. In terms of that summer holiday, most of my time at home was basically just revising for the UCAT. Some people, you can book it a little bit later, up to about mid to late September, but I did mine late August, and that ended up working for me the best. So that meant after I've done my UCAT, fresh start to school, then from that point onwards, balancing homework, it's basically just trying to get it done as fast as possible when it's set.
You're right.
It does seem like there's a lot of homework in a week. In a week, I will, from my 3 subjects that I have, I'll get maybe 9 pieces of homework, probably more. That'll each take maybe an hour to do.
That's a lot now that I look back.
But if you just get going with it, or a lot of the time students will have frees to be able to do their work as well. If you do some work in your frees whilst talking to your friends, or you just get home, you do some homework for a little bit, which also acts as revision.
Yes.
That's what ended up working best for me, and I think ended up working best for a lot of my friends as well.
Yeah, that takes me back to my time during my A-levels. I used to do exactly the same. Like during my free classes, I just like, revise, but also have a bit of a chit-chat with my friends. So definitely, that's amazing. But how did you prepare for the UCAT? Because obviously you've got the period of like the summer holidays. Why weren't you enjoying the summer holidays, if anything?
Well, I was.
Okay.
But in the days and weeks before my UCAT, the main thing that I was doing was, in terms of UCAT preparation, if you can find lots of websites online that support doing questions for the UCAT, the UCAT isn't something that you can really just learn about. These are the types of questions you'll get and then you'll do well in them. You need to have dedicated practice. So for me, that was maybe 4 hours, well, on average about 4 hours, but 5 hours like max.
That's a lot of work, yeah.
If you split it throughout the day, it ends up being very
Your organisation skills must be amazing.
Oh. On a day-to-day basis, I'll just schedule, I need to get this done in this block of time, I need to get this done in this block of time, everything else will be generally free.
Of course, okay. And how did Mum find the organisation? I mean, was it like, you know, for instance, did you find it hard to bring him down for dinner or lunch sometimes?
Not really. It was really impressive. No, not at all.
Of course. And what was it like for you, of course, you know, the household, like your son's giving his A-levels, and of course I know you've got a daughter. What was it like, you know, just being in the household and preparing and everything?
Oh, well, it was difficult, but manageable. Working full-time and, you know, with the daughter. But I didn't have to do much for him, apart from just to make sure that he's got a, like, you know, safe space at home, emotional support. And as I said, that most of the thing he was doing by himself, he knows like what to do.
You say you've said emotional support, and I think this is something key in terms of like for children specifically of that age, like, you know, they need moral support, they need obviously physical support sometimes as well. What was the support that you provided that would also help maybe another mother or father who's also preparing their children for A-levels?
So, I think it's just a lot of encouragement and believe in themselves, just to,
of course,
you know, say that you can do that. So that is very important, and that can make some difference.
Definitely.
And so my husband is always there, kind of constantly asking, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?"
Like, so both of you were checking in. Amazing. And what was it like for you? I mean, your parents have been so supportive, and of course your sister as well. So what was the support like for you? How did you feel about the support?
Overall, it was very, very good. My mum and my dad, both of them, always, especially in times of UCAT or any kind of exam, always checking on me. When I had my actual A-level exams, or even my predictor exams, which ended up being almost, if not more important than my A-level exams, my dad would take me over to the station, he'd walk with me there, and then he'd say goodbye, and I'd end up going there. But it was little things like that, and just being there for me in general as well. Both my parents would drive me over to the coach every morning, even though they might not have necessarily had to do that. But they were there for me when I needed it, and that's helped me in lots of ways that I probably can't fully kind of explain even. But my sister's been here as well, extremely lovely. I've had a very supportive environment overall.
Alhamdulillah. And if there's a tip that you'd want to give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps, what would that be? It's a hard one to think about, isn't it?
Yeah. A specific tip that I would give would just be to not give up in general. just don't give up. If something seems like it's too hard, any kind of hard task always looks like it's this big thing that you need to climb, but it can always be broken down in a couple of little steps. And what you need to do is know how many steps can you do in a day, and how does that make you different to other people. Some people might be able to cram things, and if that's not the kind of thing that you can do, that's fine. That just means that you might need to start a little bit earlier and go for kind of more repetitive practice over a longer period of time. Spaced repetition. That's what I found has worked really well for me, not only in things like going for the UCAT or just my exams, going through homework, but it's been incredibly valuable in things like interviews as well. And don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. If something seems hard, try and go for it. If not, you will have people that can support you. Your teachers can help you. You will have friends and family who can help you through things as well.
Ishmam is quite the public speaker as well, I can see that. I mean, he's a doctor and a public speaker. I can see a YouTube channel popping up soon, guys. Make sure you subscribe. But what school did you go to?
I went to King Edward VI Grammar School in Chelmsford.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can see why he's done amazing, because obviously the school's amazing as well.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show today, both mum and, of course, son.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best, inshallah, for the future, because I know you're going to do amazing in medicine. And I can't wait to see you, of course, be a doctor. And obviously, maybe I might come and see you, might need some help.
Thank you very
might
much.
need to see you in the future. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks.